Most of us learn early to walk toward the light, to show the parts that feel acceptable, to hide the parts that feel difficult. We are taught that shadows should disappear when we grow stronger. But once, there was a shadow that stayed kind. The shadow belonged to a quiet person who walked slowly through life. Wherever the person went, the shadow followed. Not loudly, not insistently. It simply stayed close. At first, the person did not mind. The shadow felt harmless then. Just a shape on the ground, stretching and shrinking with the sun. But over time, the person began to notice it more, especially on bright days. The brighter the light, the darker the shadow appeared. The person grew uncomfortable. "I don't want you there," they whispered. "You make me look incomplete." The shadow did not answer. It stayed. The person tried many things. They stood directly under the sun. They walked faster. They avoided mirrors and still surfaces. But the shadow remained, always slightly behind, always present. Others noticed too. "You should get rid of it," they said. "Shadows mean something is blocking the light." The person believed them. So the person began to fight the shadow. They stepped away from it. They tried to outrun it. They judged it harshly. "This part of me is weak," they thought. "This part should not exist." The shadow grew quieter, not smaller, just quieter. One evening, when the sun lowered and the world softened, the person stopped walking. They were tired, not of moving, but of resisting. They sat down, and for the first time, they looked directly at the shadow. It did not look threatening. It did not reach out. It did not accuse. It simply mirrored the person's shape. Nothing more, nothing less. The person noticed something surprising. The shadow moved gently. When the person relaxed, the shadow softened. When the person breathed deeply, the shadow settled. Carefully, the person spoke. "I'm afraid of you," they admitted. The shadow did not respond, but it stayed close. And in that closeness, the person felt something unexpected. Not fear, compassion. The person realized then, the shadow was not an enemy. It was a record of moments felt deeply, of fears survived quietly, of parts that learned to protect. The shadow carried the weight of everything the person had endured without being seen. When the person softened toward it, the shadow softened too. Not because it changed, but because it was finally allowed. From that day on, the person stopped trying to erase the shadow. They began walking with it. On some days, the shadow appeared long and heavy. On others, it was barely visible. Both were honest. The person noticed something else. When they stopped rejecting the shadow, their steps felt lighter. Not because the shadow disappeared, but because it no longer had to hide. People who met the person felt at ease. They didn't know why, but they sensed a quiet wholeness. The person no longer tried to appear perfect. They allowed pauses. They allowed softness. They allowed rest. And the shadow remained. Not darker, not brighter, just kind. It did not pull the person back. It reminded them where they had been. Accepting yourself does not mean loving every part immediately. It means allowing every part to stay. If there is a shadow you have been pushing away, it may not need to disappear. It may only need your kindness. The shadow that stayed kind was never there to harm. It stayed to make you whole. The calm way is a place where nothing needs to be hidden. You are allowed to arrive with all of yourself.